Continuing on from my video earlier in the week about all of the weapons that will be coming to Battlefield 1, today we're going to go over the gadgets. Some of them you might have heard of, some of them you definitely won't have, but this will give you a good overview of what you can expect to come in the full game. Again, this isn't a final list. All of the data has been taken from the beta build that we've just played, but you can at least expect these to be in the final game. As I did with the weapons video, we'll be going through each class and listing each gadget, whether we know about them or not, so that we've got a complete list of everything we can expect coming to the game. Remember though, this is taken from the beta code, so nothing is truly final at this point. First off, let's go with the Assault class. Now this is considered mainly as the demolition man on the battlefield, so his armory of choices is full of explosives and stuff that just goes boom. We've got the anti-tank grenade to start with. Selecting this will net you 2 powerful explosives for targeting tanks and light vehicles. A direct hit on a player or a vehicle will result in an instant explosion of the grenade, whereas a grenade that lands around the target has a timed explosion. This is the Assault's bread and butter. The whole class is about bringing down armor, but here you'll need to get close and personal with the target to make sure you do that damage. Next we have the Dynamite. Different from modern day C4 like you might expect from a Battlefield game, the Dynamite doesn't stick to objects, and therefore makes it a bit harder to use as a mobile explosive. Not only that, but with the 3 pieces of dynamite that you get, the last one you place down will be the first one to explode as they all chain together. Not something that you'll notice if you place them all very close together, but there is a slight delay, and if you do space them further apart, you'll be able to see that. Third gadget, we have the AT rocket gun. The gadget all players should have had in the beta to combat those powerful tanks. This rocket launcher can only be fired in the prone position or mounted behind cover, meaning you're at a disadvantage when you're using it. The risk-reward element though is extreme damage to armor if you can hit the target. And of course it's especially useful for the longer range combat scenarios. I don't know, say like in the middle of a desert for example. And the last gadget mentioned in the files for the Assault class is the Limpet Mine. There's a picture on the screen for you now so you can know what it looks like. This is an explosive device that can be latched onto an object and then it detonates a few seconds after. Their main use is to be attached onto magnetic surfaces, that's how they stick, and then to be detonated by a timer. They were used by swimmers or divers during the First World War to attach them onto enemy boats and watercraft and blow them up. Sounds really interesting. Not sure how it's going to work in Battlefield 1, but something I'm looking forward to using. Next up, we have the Medic class. The class needed a lot of love from the beta. Its effectiveness at keeping players alive was somewhat reduced by the new sped up kill cam, which didn't actually speed up respawning at all, and the fact that the revive icon had been completely removed unless the person in the kill cam clicked a button. Who thought that was a good idea? Let's look at what gadgets they have in the final game and see whether they're good or not. First up, we have the bandage pouch and the medical crate. Both of these are healing stations, with the pouch being a pickup for a single soldier to heal in increments, and the crate provides constant heal up at a static location for any player that's in its radius. Now, I've always been a crate guy myself, but on the big open Sinai desert with no single hotspot or key focus, the pouch proved to be a much more effective tool overall. Then we have the explosive attachments for the rifles. These are essentially grenades fired from the barrel of your primary weapon, and they come in smoke, high explosive and frag variants. You can basically think of these as grenade launchers. The high explosive is damaging to vehicles, much more so than the frag grenade, but neither are anywhere near powerful enough to take down armor on their own. The smoke will be good for pushing up on objectives, providing soft cover on rush. We know how pesky those snipers can be in Battlefield 1. A surprise inclusion for gadget number 4 here, it's the wrench. This is Battlefield 1's repair tool. Now at the moment this is available to tank drivers and pilots as part of their classes, but it also seems to be going to the medic as well. The last gadget is the syringe, but you probably didn't see that during the beta. It was definitely there, but I bet you didn't get revived very often. That's because it was barely used due to extremely poor UI feedback that a player needed to actually be revived. Now DICE have committed to fixing this, so let's hope we see a big improvement for the final release. Moving on to the support class now, arguably the most underpowered class in the beta, and one that I feel needed a lot more gadget love. From this list though, it doesn't make for good reading, but we will cover all of the options anyway. First of all, we've got the tripwire mines, coming in explosive, gas and incendiary variants. These work great in high traffic areas where you know enemies are going to be moving about, or in more obscure places hidden away completely unnoticed. Not sure how much use the gas option will really get, considering it's got the slowest damage over time of any of the mines on offer, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the final game. Then you've got the ammo crate and the ammo pouch, and just like the bandages and the crate for the medic class, I've converted from the crates over to the pouches here. The super mobile nature of them and the fact they can fly so far is of huge benefit, and in this game mode especially, on Sinai Desert on Conquest, people needed their light anti-tank grenades. So the support class could be throwing ammo pouches all of the time. It's always advisable when running a support to have either the crate or the pouch. And lastly, we have the Mortar, the only other gadget listed for the support class. We didn't see this in the beta, but we did catch a glimpse of it in one of the Battlefield videos uploaded to their YouTube channel. It will come in high explosive, airburst and smoke variants, and if this is the support's only gadget to directly do damage to vehicles, then I'm a little bit concerned. My first thought as support in the beta when I saw a tank, or indeed any vehicle, was to just simply run away. Sure, I could have used the light anti-tank grenades and then kept replenishing them with the ammo pouches, but overall they just didn't do enough damage. I'd like to see the support class get the anti-tank grenades from the assault class as well, and have those as an option, or maybe even the dynamite. Surely the classes can share gadgets in Battlefield 1. And lastly, we come to the Scout class. Now this is probably the most interesting of the four, but again I'll cover all of the gadgets on the list. First of all, we have the spotting scope, something you probably didn't see much of in the beta, but it definitely was there. This allows you to stay concealed behind cover and use a pair of mirrored binoculars so that you can see over cover and spot players for your team. This will be really helpful on the maps where there's a lot more trenches laying around. The flare gun is here as well. I'm sure you know what that is by now. It comes in either the spotting variant, which spots enemy players in its radius on your minimap, and the flash variant, which acts as basically a flash grenade and blinds all players, including vehicles as well. So it's pretty effective. Both of these can also damage players as their flare catches onto clothes and sets people on fire. Rather interesting if you manage to get a kill with that. I got a couple in the beta and it made me laugh quite a lot. The next gadget is the K-bullets. Those do damage to vehicles. They won't always be essential, especially on smaller infantry-centric maps, but as we know on Sinai Desert, they were pretty much critical. Now on to newer things. The first of two, the trench shield. This is a solid metal shield that can be deployed in front of you while you snipe in prone position. There is a small hole in it so that you can poke your weapon through and so that you can see, so there is a chance that you could be taken out, but it will provide a lot more cover for scouts who are in those open situations. I can see this becoming especially handy when sticking your head over the top of a trench. And the second gadget is the helmet decoy. This is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a decoy device that can be placed in the ground where the helmet can be spotted by an enemy, and it will appear as a scout icon. It also reveals the location of enemy players when it's fired at on the minimap. Now this sounds like a really cool gadget, and I can see a lot of people using this in the trench systems. Plant this thing at the edge of a trench, the helmet will stick out, that's what she said, and it will distract the enemies from your own movements. It sounds pretty cool, and I can't wait to try it. There are a few other mentions of items that could be gadgets in the code. We've got the observation balloon. These are the blimp-like objects seen on St. Quentin Scar at the back of the map by the trenches. These look a little bit too big to be proper gadgets, but they would fit into the scout role, there to provide intel. There's also shell casings, the thing you used in the single player in Hardline to distract enemies, so perhaps that's just a single player asset again. And lastly, the grappling hook. Again, something we saw in Hardline, perhaps it's just a leftover mention. I don't even know if they used them in World War I. I don't know if the scenario ever came up where they'd need to use one. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. All in all, not too many more gadgets added since the beta then. Overall, I think this is a good thing, and hopefully it will mean, like the classes in general, that all of the gadgets will have clear, defined uses, and nothing too casual like we saw in Battlefield 4. The amount of gadgets in that game was just utterly insane. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of all the different gadgets down below in the comments. I still think the support class needs a little bit more love, and medic is still going to be underpowered unless DICE fix that damn revive icon. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll be reading as many as I can. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.